Hey everyone, sorry I'm a little late. I just got back to Hamburg from Silt. What a week, what a week. That was a busy week. Even though we didn't actually have much wind, we didn't have a lot of conditions. I was in Silt for the World Cup. It's actually the biggest windsurfing World Cup in the world. And they finished all the disciplines except for the men's wave. So I was the only discipline that didn't finish, unfortunately. Um, Yeah, so I'm back. If you have any questions, let me know about Silt or about anything else. I'm going to load up the Facebook group and jump right into the coaching. But if you have any questions, yeah, fire away. Fire away. Hey, Jorg. All right, so here we are. Here's the coaching group. So we've got a post from Ragnar. So Ragnar was on our windsurfing masterclass in Denmark, and he's trying to put some of those things into practice. Ragnar, super keen, gets on the water a lot. There, I'd like to see you aiming more for the high five, aiming a little bit below the lip, so aiming for that high five, a little bit higher will help. That's the main thing I see. Yeah, aiming a little bit higher. The other thing, Ragnar, I think would be beneficial for you, which I think you're not going to like, but it'd be interesting. I think it would be an interesting exercise, is to do more sessions without the cameras, which, okay, I know I'm always saying film yourself, film yourself, film yourself, because that's the best way to get better. But sometimes having a session without the filming, I think can be a nice contrast as well, where you're just focusing on the feelings and then you're disconnected from how it looks, which is if you're only concentrating on the feelings, then you need to get filmed to see how it looks. But I think having a bit of balance is also good. Hey, Hans and Tomas. Jeff. Ooh, Jeff, that sounds gnarly. I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better. Ragnar also made a movie about his experience in Denmark, so you can check that out. Chris is trying to choose between the GoPro and the Insta360. So I have both of those, and I like them both for different things. The 360 effect is really cool, and you put it on a little mast, a little stick extension off of your boom or off your mast. It looks really cool. The GoPro is really good for following people, giving sort of your POV. I like the Insta360 look. I think it's pretty cool for coaching. I think that's what Nick is using here. I think that's an Insta360. He's got a little extension with a fly mount or some kind of camera like that. Maybe this is a standard GoPro actually, but we've got some good comments from the rest of the community there. Jeff, I hope you feel better. Nothing worse than being sick. Everything else just goes out the window. All right, huge congratulations to Maureen. So Maureen is a windsurfing masterclass alumni. She's an active member of this coaching group, and she actually came on the very first windsurfing masterclass week that I did. She was one of the students, and she just won her first World Cup. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, she was good then as well back in 2020 when she was joining the coaching. And it's so cool. One of the things that I remember working with her on was having more confidence in her ability and realizing that she actually has all the skills. And so she doesn't have to worry that she doesn't. She can sort of relax and enjoy actually how high her level is. And that was something that we were working on when we were in Denmark the last time together. But yeah, it's super cool how well Marina sailing. And those of you guys who are in the group know how hard she worked. You know, she always does posts about going to Cabo Verde or going to other places and getting advice from our community. And yeah, it's so cool to see her doing well. Sybil and Carl were also in the event and they also did well. Unfortunately, Sybil and Carl went against each other in the first heat, but they both gave it a really good effort. Um, bad luck, a bit of bad luck with the seating. Hey, Ragnar, John, Mark. Um, nice. Blue all day. Nice, Mark. I hope you're having fun. Are you putting in the lessons that we were talking about in Denmark? Mark was also on one of our masterclass weeks. Um, yeah, so Matt, it's disappointing that it didn't finish. It's kind of funny. It's just how competitions are. I mean, there were actually quite a few good moments throughout the week for sailing. I had fun sailing when they were doing the freestyle, when they were doing um, the after they finished the women. There was a time like a 30-40 minutes in the afternoon that was actually pretty good, like way better than what we competed in on Saturday, on Friday evening. There were a few other fun moments throughout the week, but just not enough to really run it. And freestyle was a bit of priority because they had fewer events this year. It's hard waiting because you have to just wait and wait and wait. And the conditions we did run in were really difficult. Is that the most difficult conditions I've ever competed in? Maybe. I was on my 5.5, which is my biggest sail, fully bagged out, on my 96-liter board, which is my biggest board. And I could have maybe had a bigger sail. Normally, we don't compete in conditions where I need a bigger sail. And I managed to get all my jumps, but if I'd had bigger sail, maybe I could have done them sooner in the heat and then focused on the wave rides. But it was so onshore that, first of all, getting off the beach was really hard because there's a huge shore break. Silt is notorious for its huge shore break. And because it's onshore, you have to go upwind to get out, right? Because the wind is really straight onshore. And you launch like 20-30 minutes before your heat just to get out. And then the wave we were sailing is on the outer sandbank. So then you have to sail like upwind to get to the outer sandbank, which is super hard. And I was trying to get out like 20 minutes before my heat. I was right behind Barzinho, who was also in my heat, not against me, but against someone else. And I was just a little bit slower than him. And he went out, there's like a little moment. And then I followed like 20 seconds behind him. And then it was just a close out short break. And I couldn't get out through it. I'm getting pounded, getting pounded, getting pounded. I thought, I'm not going to make it out. I'm not going to make it out. And the wind was a little bit port tack. So I'm going out port tack with my left hand forward, but more or less straight on shore. I'm just a few meters off the beach, right? I haven't made it out at all. I'm coming down to the rocks at the end of the beach. I tack, and I'm thinking, all right, should I walk up and try again, or should I just sail upwind as much as I can? And so then I'm sailing on starboard tack. Because it's so onshore, I was actually able to get out through the shore break on starboard tack. I'd been trying on port tack because the wind seemed a little bit port tack. Brasinho had got out port tack. I got out on starboard tack. So 20 seconds before, Brasinho got out past the shore break, huge shore break on port tack, and I got out on starboard tack. That just shows you how onshore it was. The wind was like pure, pure, pure onshore. And so riding waves when it's like that is a real challenge because it's hard to even catch them because even just to stay on the wave, you have to be going really, really far downwind, right? Because the waves are traveling exactly the direction of the wind. So even just to stay on the wave to ride it backside, you're still going downwind. Crazy conditions. Suna says he had a full day on the water yesterday in the morning with his daughter and on the flat water, and then in the afternoon the waves. That sounds like a perfect day. Carl, I'm glad you had a good hands-thumb session. Nice. It's always a nice reward. All right, so we got a question from Nick. So Nick has been working on his forwards for a couple years now, and this is awesome. He's getting more consistent, going higher. He has a problem with his feet coming out. Ooh, yeah, that foot is really coming out. So normally I would say that your feet come out when the nose of the board touches the water. So let's see if that's what's happening here. All right, I gotta slow this down a little bit more. Let's figure this out. So, way to go going for it, Nick, first of all. Looking back. reaching. Wow, and your foot is already out. So I wonder if this is a foot strap issue because your foot shouldn't come out this easily. Or you're pulling everything too early, and then you're launching your body before the board's actually in the air. Could also be the case. Or you're not pushing off the ramp enough, so then the board and your feet are kind of staying still. The board is staying still, and then the body's starting to like whip. That could also be what's happening. It's a little strange. It's a little strange. So the three things that I said: check the foot straps. Make sure the foot straps are the right size. They're big enough. If they're too narrow, your feet will come out easily. Or make sure they're not too big. I like them tight on the sides, high on the top. Second, make sure that you're not pulling too soon, so you get thrown before the board is in the air. And then also make sure you're really extending off the ramp before you go into the ball. So you go small to tall to ball. And that extension, when you're tall, helps you push off the ramp and then you ball up again. Um, okay, so your straps, you're happy with your straps. So we throw that out. So I think it's one of the two. But we've got a few other answers here, a lot more answers. Like, yes, there's a lot of good answers here. So if I think this is really interesting to look at. So my two things have to do with the takeoff, but maybe there's some other tips in here, Nick, that you think will really work for you. So Chris is saying that he had the same problem and he fixed it by launching more downwind. Yeah, so that could be because then you're going upwind and you're launching, and then you've got a lot of power and everything, but the board is kind of sticking, and whereas then if it's downwind, it can come with you. Hey, Max. Yeah, Jeff, totally agree. Marine is a ripper. Um, yeah, cool, Chris. This is good advice. Well, Max, I mean, it is disappointing we didn't finish the waves, but they got a result in racing. They got a result in men's freestyle. They got a result in the women's waves. And the only discipline they didn't get a full result was in the men's waves. And in addition to those other results, they also crowned the freestyle world champions because this event is the last freestyle event of the year. So I think it was still a successful event for the organizers and sponsors. They had a lot of great content. The live stream this year with all the drone footage was really cool. They were stoked about that. The racing and freestyle looked so exciting. The freestyle, especially with the drone footage, looked awesome. So they were pretty happy. All right, Toll, is that how you pronounce that? Toll, talking about a race across the channel, France to England. That's cool. I would love to cross the channel. Can you just do it? How does that work post-Brexit? Do you need to take your passport? I would like to do it. Who would like to do that with me? Should we do this? Should we do a group sail across the channel? You guys want to do? I'm serious. I know it sounds like I'm joking, but I'm serious. I think that would be so cool. I don't know the legality of that, but what's the difference between taking another boat? Like, can't we could just take the passports, right? I I guess the two things I'm worried about first off are getting hit by ships. I want to make sure that there aren't big boats, and I want to not be doing a lot of tacking. So it depends on the wind direction. If you just sail straight, that sounds like it could be really fun. Um, yeah, well let's look at the video. There's a video of it. Oh, I've got an ad. Um, I would love to do that. I think that'd be really fun. I think that'd be really fun. I've crossed a few channels of in the Hawaiian Islands, and it's fun. It's cool. It's something different. It's so cool to be a ship rather than a surfboard. Um, yeah, I love it. So an hour 37, that's not that long. You guys, we can all do that. I mean, if it's like 8 hours, that's something you have to train for. Like windsurfing for 8 hours is really hard. Windsurfing for even 4 hours or 3 hours in a setting like this is really hard. But doing it in an hour and a half, hour 45, let's say 2 hours. Whoa, look at those birds. Yeah, this sounds really cool. Okay, I wanna look into this. So, we need to figure out, do we, um what do we do with our passports? I guess we put them in the wetsuits, and then I guess we need a boat, a safety boat for all of us. Yeah, okay, okay, I'm gonna look into this. I guess it would be next year. We don't wanna do it in the winter. Okay, okay. Alright, alright. I'm gonna look more into this. I'm gonna write this down. You guys think I'm joking, but I'm not. I think this would be really fun. English Channel crossing. Okay. Alright, so Hans is saying you have to time it with the tidal currents. Alright, that makes sense. That makes sense. Alright, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna do some more research, and then let's see. Alright, so we've got a question from Oliver. He says, "Today I had a side-on session with nice waves and strong wind. Bottom turns went great, had a nice setup to the section. However, while doing the cutback, the sail always powers up heavily, and I have to let go with the sail arm, and the sail flaps and lands in the water in front of me. So try just letting go with the back hand rather than all the hands, which is what sounds like is happening. And then normally you can do a cutback, even if the sail is fully powered or overpowered. And it's actually a really good exercise. It teaches you a lot about board control and sail control and the body placement for the cutback, because you can't cheat. If you're not holding on with the backhand, you can't cheat and use the power of the sail. So doing a backhand off top turn is one of the best exercises you can do for wave riding. Uh, Second, even though your bottom turn setups are good, or even though you think they're good, they might not be. So if we can get some video of it or photos of it, that would be helpful, because even if it feels good, maybe there's something going on in the bottom turn that is giving you issues in the cutback. If the bottom turn is fine and you're having this issue, you want to make sure that you're really getting low in the cutback. You want to think about getting your butt low and letting the sail be far away from you. So the sail kind of stays in the same place and your body gets really low. So it's like you're sitting down. For me, it feels like I'm hanging from the boom, but not hanging like I'm pulling it. I mean, I've got like my straight arms, I'm holding on to the sail, but I'm not bringing it up to me. I'm not standing tall, because that is counterproductive for what you want to do with the cutback. Um, cool. So there's another crossing video in Windsurf magazine. Mark is saying, I'll have to check that out. Um, Max is saying he got a new Cube 95 and he likes the small deck. Cool. That sounds awesome. So, Oliver, I think three things, just to reiterate what I just said, just to summarize things. First of all, let's get some footage. Try and get just some footage of your bottom turns. That will help us a lot. Second, do cutbacks with your backhand off. Great exercise. Three, really make sure that you're sitting down on the cutback, really getting your butt down, almost like touching your butt to the water. Like set the rail and sit down and keep that sail away from you. Don't hold the sail tight. Don't try to stand up tall. And you really want to think about turning your board rail to rail rather than laterally like this. All right, let's keep on going. All right, Juso is landing his first. Congratulations. Awesome, and the rotation looks really nice. You're going nice and horizontal. Um, Huge. Look at that. Oh, we just lost it. But this looks really nice, and I'm guessing this is just the Pozo Winds camera. Is that right? And this is pretty cool. So if you're sailing in Pozo, Pozo Winds has this camera, and you can get some footage of your session. Now, you can tell the quality of the footage isn't great, but it's enough to see what's going on. And so, like I always say, footage is one of the best ways to improve. If you're sailing in Pozo, use the cam. And if you're sailing somewhere else with cams, like Surfline cams, I know Surfline has a lot of cams on different beaches, or you have other webcams. See if you can go through the archive for the day and then watch yourself. I think it's a good alternative to other ways of getting filmed. So right on, Juso. This is great. Um, I think this rotation looks really nice and horizontal. You're really committed. You're getting the mast really into the wind. It looks solid. Just do more of them. Boom, boom, boom. All right, Aaron is a wave sailor from Belgium, planning to move to San Diego and wondering about what kit to bring. So I don't know that much about wave sailing in San Diego. There's a lot of surfing around San Diego. There is really fun windsurfing around Santa Cruz, and some of the best, most fun wave sailing in the world in Baja, which is a drive away. Baja is really, really fun. And you can drive down. San Carlos is a mission, Abreojos, less of a mission, but it's all a mission. So you want to go with someone, especially for the first time, who's done it before. I wouldn't go alone to either to anywhere in Baja, actually. I would do it with someone who's experienced. But it's amazing, and you can do it from San Diego. And I think it can work in the winter. The wind is less consistent, but it can work. Otherwise, Maui is an easy flight away. There are really cheap flights right now from California to Maui. I saw a $75 flight from San Francisco to Maui, one way, but that's super cheap. Maui's got low tourism at the moment because of the fires. So if you want to take advantage, Maui needs, it's a difficult situation because Maui needs to rebuild, Lahaina needs to rebuild, but at the same time, there's a lot of local businesses that do need the tourists. So if you are coming and you're uh, how do I say that? If you're a supportive, um, tourist who's willing to help, not really get in the way of the the areas that are going through issues, then I think the island really needs you. So I recommend go checking out Maui. All right. Next up, we have a question from Ephemios. So forward looping, baby. Look at that. Whoa. What makes this rotation so radical? Maybe it's just the view from the back of the boom. It looks like a wild there's something funny at the end here, but again, maybe it's just this back of the boom angle. The main thing I see, less about the legs, is more just about the head, and if you get that head looking back, it's gonna make a big difference. You'll have a lot more control, you'll know where you are in the loop, and that will help with the feet. So, a lot of the times when you don't know where you are, then your legs will be doing weird things. But if you're looking back, you're looking in the direction of the rotation, and then your body knows where you are, and you can adjust your feet. Um, I'd like to see an angle of this from just any other angle. There's something that looks weird in this loop. I think you're also pulling your front arm in too much. You really want to make sure you're extending your front arm in the loop. And it looks like you're really pulling the sail close to you with the front arm, which is what's causing this sort of weirdness at the end. It almost reminds me of coming out of a cheese roll. There's something similar to a cheese roll exit like this, where also your front hand is close to you in a cheese roll. Um, So those are the 2 main things I would do. I wouldn't worry so much about the front leg. I think you gotta get that head looking in the direction of the rotation, which is over your back shoulder, and, you gotta make sure that you're pushing that front hand away from you. You can also maybe have a wider grip. It's hard for me to tell from this angle. So, get the head looking back, which is where you are rotating. And what was the other thing I said? I said head. Oh, and don't hold the front hand close to your body. Extend the front arm. Yeah. All right, Hans. Hans. So Hans has some issues with his high five on steep sections in hollower waves. When I hit a section that's just about to break, I often end up with the nose down and purling on the bottom. So Hans then also uses this example of me from the silt shore break. Um, I remember this wave, and I went too early. I was unhappy with this. I wanted to go later. I was frustrated with this actually. Um, the silt can be so hard to get the timing. It takes some waves to really get the timing, and this was a little bit too early, so I sort of came down with the lip rather than getting projected by the lip. I missed that high five projection. I'm a little bit too early to get the push, so then I'm coming down with the lip rather than being projected by it. Um, all right, so let's read a little bit more, Hans, of what you have to say, and then I will watch the videos. Um, there's something beeping. Is that coming from the Facebook page? Something beeping somewhere. Anyway, I'm just gonna keep going through this. I don't know what's beeping. Oh, it's the YouTube. There we go. Okay. All right. I thought I was going crazy for a second, but we'd left the YouTube tab open. All right. All right, Hans, let me finish reading your question. So, um, he his gut feeling is that he should keep the nose higher. Another thing is he should hit those sections later, looking for the corner pocket. He has the feeling that he pulls himself under the sail as a safety reflex. This was his first session after the master class, which had a huge effect on his bottom turns. Nice. And he's testing a new camera. That's why we have these angles. So leg position looks fine. Hand position looks fine from what we can see. Um, and then the nose is coming down. All right, was that another video? Yeah, let's watch the video. All right, so bottom turn, nice. I like it. Little roundhouse. The conditions look good. Look like you're getting fun conditions. I mean, looks super fun down the line. Okay, so there was the moment that we're looking for. Hmm. So I think you want to get your body lower. It's hard for me to see from this angle, but my first response is if I'm looking at where your head is relative to your boom in your hand, you're quite tall at this point, and this is a part where you want to be hanging more from the boom. Like if we go back to my picture and you look like where my head is compared to the boom, right? There's no way that I would have that same view of my hands in the boom, right? So you don't want to be tall like that. You really want to get nice and low. Let's watch it again. Does that make sense, Hans? So, like, I mean, here, yeah, so I think staying low. Let's watch this again. All right, we're watching. All right, off the top. Um, the other thing that's happening, at least in this one that I can see, is you're putting the sail back towards the tail of the board, which is carving it around like a tack. And the cutback is not a tack. The cutback is not like a tack. In fact, the sail kind of just stays upright. The sail's not doing very much in the off the lip or the cutback, but your body is and your board is. And so by driving the everything upwind by putting the sail back towards the tail of the board, then you're gonna get this nose digging in rather than just relying on the rail. Um, so, like, it's kinda hard to see from here, but the sail relative to the board doesn't change very much in its angle. It's not like the sail's going back to do a tack. It's really different, the sail's open, not sheeted in, upright, still not sheeted in. I'm pretty low. Like here, in the moment of going off the lip, I'm super low, right? Like my butt is on the water. Um, Getting low like that is super duper helpful. Um, does that make any sense, Hans? All of what we just said. Meanwhile, hey Greg. Oh, sorry to hear about the MCL. MCL is a tough one. I mean, the advantage of the MCL is it does recover on its own, unlike the ACL, PCL, the other ligaments in the knee. Make sure you do good rehab, though. Go to a good therapist, someone that can help you out. Do the exercises. Um, yeah, because that will make a big difference. I've also severely injured my MCL a few years ago. It can be really painful, but I would really make sure that you're doing the physio and make sure you have a good physiotherapist, someone who preferably works with athletes. You don't have to stay over the board, Hans. So more outboard actually than exactly over the board. A little bit outboard, but you want to make sure you're not pulling that sail back towards the tail of the board. Um, so I definitely saw the sail going back towards the tail in the second video, which will definitely do something you don't want it to do. But um, for the other one, I'm less sure. But I think staying low at the beginning of the turn, and you can be outboard. You don't have to stay right on top of the board because you want to get the board on its rail. So you're leaning out from it. So your weight is not over the board but out, and then you're really on your heels. And that also helps keep the nose higher because then that weight is pushing on the tail of the board and on the tail rail on the if you think of the outline of the board, that then lifts the nose out of the water and so you don't pearl as much. Um, those are some things I would try. So see if you can get footage from another angle. Make sure you're not pushing the sail towards the tail of the board like a tack to go upwind. Make sure you're sheeting out, keeping the sail upright. Um, and then, yeah, get your butt low and sit down. All right. Ooh, that's a nice one. Boom, boom, boom. This is a very different kind of section, Dom Dom, but nice. And just like that, we're caught up. Whoa, that was quick. Quick, quick, quick. All right, we are caught up. Thank you everyone for joining. Post. If you have any questions or footage, videos, anything, post it in the Facebook group up there. You guys are all members of the Facebook group. You guys are regulars. You guys know what to do. I would love to hear what you're up to. If you're getting on the water, what were you working on? Yeah, it's such a great community. It's awesome. So I'd love for you guys to get on the water this week. If it's windy, even if it's not windy, if the conditions are really light and it's not what you would normally go out in, go out and work on some tacks or light wind freestyle and write about it in the Facebook group. Let us know how it went. Ragnar is asking, will I compete in Hokipa? Yes, I will. I fly to Maui in a little bit over a week. So next week, Sunday, I should still be in Europe, but then I will leave shortly after that. And I will be on Maui for a few weeks. I will compete at the Aloha Classic, which I'm looking forward to. Kind of the only reason I've done these other events is to make sure that I have a seating for the Aloha Classic because I do want to compete in that event. And I'm looking forward to being back on Maui. All right, everyone, I'm going to sign off. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you. And I want to hear about your sessions this week. So post it in the group, and I'll see you next week, Sunday.